Hey guys, Tony here. In this video, I'm going to be going over the key difference between the squat and the deadlift, and I'm going to be giving you guys 5 tips to master the squat and the deadlift. Okay guys, I don't know about mastering the squat and the deadlift, but I've been lifting for about 4 or 5 years now, and the squat and the deadlift are harder than you guys might think. It's not as simple as putting the bar on the floor and lifting it up, and it's not as easy as putting the bar on your back and going down. But have no fear guys, after watching this video, you'll get it perfectly. Well, enough talking, let's begin. The biggest difference between the squat and the deadlift is the position of your hips. And this is where I see most people mess up on, especially when doing the deadlift. So you probably heard before that the deadlift is more of a glute dominant exercise and the squat more of a quad dominant exercise. And the position of your hip really determines which muscle group you're working. In a deadlift, you really want to sit your hips more backwards to get more of a stretch in your glutes. I like to think of it as doing a bicep curl. In order to get an effective curl, you have to curl all the way up and all the way down so you get full range of motion. So we want to do the same thing in the deadlift. If our goal is to train the glutes or the butt, then we want to get more stretch and more range of motion. And to do so, you have to sit back. In a squat, you can sit more down so you get more bend at the knees, working more of your quads. Other than the hips, the position of the spine is equally important when it comes to squatting and deadlifting. Too many times I see people arch or round their back, and it really puts the spine in a bad position to work at. When you're going down in a squat or exploding up in a deadlift, you really want to maintain a straight or neutral spine position. Do this by actively tightening up and contracting your core muscles. Make sure you keep it contracted and tight throughout the entire lift. When you're deadlifting, it's also equally important that you keep your lats contracted. If you lose the contraction on your lats, your shoulder will round, and so will your back. Guys, I can't stress this enough. Even though that your back is not hurting now, if you're doing it improperly, chances are your back will hurt in the future. So to prevent this, make sure you're doing it with the proper form, especially if you're doing it under load. Number 3, the alignment of your knees. So in a squat and deadlift, when you bend your knees, you want them to track over your second toe. One of the most common mistakes people make here is their knees collapse inward, which is the sign of weakness in your glutes. If you find this happening, you want to make sure you push your knees out, contract your side butt, and tighten your core. Number 4, the position of your feet. So this one's a little bit more tricky and varies from people to people. I like to say you want to stand about shoulder width apart with your toes pointed slightly out. And the position of your feet can also change depending on variations of the squat and deadlift. You also don't want to stand staggered step or when one of the foot is in front of the other. This is going to create some imbalance. So before you squat and deadlift, make sure that your feet are parallel to each other. Number 5, know that your squat and deadlift won't look like mine or probably anybody else's squat and deadlift. And this is because we're all shaped differently. If you have a long thigh bone, for example, then you're going to want to stand with your toes pointed out more. This is going to give you better leverage as you bend down. So play with the position of your feet to see what's more comfortable for you. You might need to stand with your feet further apart or closer. You might want to stand with your toes pointed out more or inward more. Quick recap. So in a squat versus deadlift, remember you have to sit back versus sitting down. Also, when you're doing the lifts, make sure that you keep your abs, lats, butt, all engaged. You want to make sure you keep your back straight and your muscles engaged throughout the entire lift. Make sure that your knees do not come in and that they align over your second toe when you're squatting. Lastly, make sure whatever you do, it's comfortable and it works for you. So play around with the squat and deadlift, see what's comfortable and see what works for you.
These women are working out to beat brittle bones. It's a new way to prevent crippling osteoporosis.